Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, family. Good morning, visitors. We're going to have this brief Let's Talk with Angelica with In God's Timing. And my topic, Alleyway. Let's have a little bit of Alleyway talk. Okay. We seek what we're deficient in, what we lack, what we desire, what we want. We seek those things out. Okay. What is an alley? An alley is a narrow passageway between or behind buildings. Okay. So I'm coming right down somebody's alley this morning. Okay, so many of these things I'm going to briefly discuss. Either we can identify with one, two, or maybe more coupled together as far as these different things. A lot of times people end up being alone or settling in relationships, friendships, uh, all kind of different things because we don't deal with our issues. So when I say alley talk, those behind the scene things, behind closed doors, which you really deal with, what people can't actually see by just looking at you, which you deal with those heart issues, okay, or things that have affected your life in different ways. So as people end up alone or settling. We see a lot of single women out here now that are alone. Okay, so we have to self-reflect and look at ourselves. So some of this stuff can result in when we seek, looking for relationships, certain things out of relationships or people that we need to obtain sometimes on our own or learn to see ourselves. It can result in abortions, mental health issues, which you open. Um, and even when we're saying this, alleyways are narrow, okay? But this is a broad list that just came to me that leads to different passageways. So what is an alley? It's a passageway, okay? Just like bowling alley, you have different lanes, right? So you have different passageways. So we have different passageways that the enemy tries to come in through some of the things I'm going to list. Excuse me. So results in abortions, mental health issues, which are open. We end up giving the enemy legal right to touch us by being open, okay? Possibilities, divorces, unstable relationships, toxic relationships, denial, narcissism, things are characteristics of either people or characteristics that we may have. Or we have may have got in relationships with people or dealt with these type of people on the job or different aspects because of we were drawn to them because, like I said, hurt people hurt people. Abandonment issues, looking for love in all the wrong places. You know, sometimes we do that. You know, somebody just they're looking for love. You got all these what is it? Shows out the flavor of love, looking for love. Everybody's looking for love in all the wrong places. So if you don't first begin to love yourself and heal, how can you love somebody else? So looking for affirmation. Where do we get affirmation from? We're supposed to get affirmation from our fathers, right? He affirms us. That way we don't have to seek out men or approval of men, you know, or give our body away. You know, he affirms us. He's supposed to affirm us, right? Some are looking for acceptance and nurturing. We get the nurturing from mothers. So then we wonder why we have the role reversal. You have a lot of single mothers raising children, right? So that's that nurturing. Women are nurturers, okay? So then you end up having men and young boys that are getting nurtured, but then they're not having that strong male testosterone influence to get affirmation for the boys and for the girls. So then you start seeking what you desire through people, through relationships. So say, for instance, for example, a young boy didn't get affirmation from his father. His father wasn't in his life, or he was absent, or could have been molested or raped, or different things. He goes towards that. He's drawn now to another man. In some cases, some men, you know, don't always do that. They use it and they grow from it, and they try to be the best father they can be. Because I know some really good dads out there. But then, like with women, you're looking for same thing with a daddy. You're looking for a dad. You're looking for a strong man. You're looking for everything that you may have lacked or been deficient in a father. So now you're looking for that in all these different relationships and not being taught or affirmed on how to carry yourself, how a man should really treat you. So then we get all these busters sometimes and bad relationships because we missed it. And you end up selling yourself short or even selling your body, using your body to attract men. And then you get them and they not right. You wondering you had stuff up for sale. So you know you get what you how you carry yourself is what you draw in. We carry baggage, okay? Baggage claims. A lot of times people don't want to claim the baggage that they have, because we'll get into relationships with people or friendships or even people on the job. Because sometimes you end up socializing with people outside of work and stuff like that. I've learned to separate stuff because I learned the hard way. Folk can be messy, but you end up having baggage claims where you don't want to claim your baggage. Like you bringing stuff into relationships. We bring stuff into friendships. We bring stuff into our homes, baggage and issues that we have because we didn't deal with it. So then we get in a relationship and we can't even love the person or be able to give them adequately what they need because you got all these issues. Like I said, this was a broad list. This was just a short list of things that just briefly came to my mind. Just all these different things that will affect our relationships and different levels. You first have to learn to love yourself. Okay, knowing your self-worth. That's what we get from having, a mother and a father, a strong mother and a father, a union, biblical mother and father, is we get that balance. Okay, we get that balance of the nurturing and the affirmation. Because some things your mommy let you do, daddy won't. He'd be like, no, he get that stern voice. But when you don't have that, the frequency gets off. So then we have a lot of role reversal on top of people don't know who they are, what sex they are, what gender, in and out of relationships, in and out of marriages, divorce, all these different things, toxic relationships, abusive relationships, all these different factors that are playing into children out of wedlock. And then some people having children and by default get married and have children, that they're left with, and they end up being a single mother. Some people in the military, single moms. So you have to deal with all those different things. So what comes from that? Sometimes people get depressed. Like I said, the mental health issues end up open, because of things that affect your life, affect your mental. So then two people begin to try and find coping mechanisms. Everybody copes differently. All these different things that I listed that may be down your alley. Many of us have experienced these or add to the list. It affects how you treat people. It affects how you function. It affects how you work. So people wonder why when you get a job or you get a relationship, why stuff is off, because you don't know how to deal with people. You don't know how to deal with your own stuff, or you haven't dealt with your own stuff. So it's starting to run over into your job, is running over into your relationships, is running over into your friendships. So then you'll get to a place where people, like I said, end up settling or being alone. Okay. Or either people don't want to be bothered with you, toxic relationships, like I said, unstable, it says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. You end up all over the place. So as I said, people look for coping mechanisms. How do they cope? Some people use alcohol. Everybody drinking now, right? Everybody talking about wine. Every show you talk to, everybody's turned up trying to cope. It was fun. Like drink, smoke and stuff, we didn't know no better. But then after a while, it was like people doing it to cope. People taking pills, anxiety pills, depression pills, pills for this, pills for that, pills for all different things just to get through the day. Okay. So now you're trying to cope, but actually when that pill comes down, when that high comes down, when that from drinking whatever comes down back to reality, you still got to face these same things. You still got to go home to the same stuff you went home to that you didn't want to deal with. Okay. Whether it be, like I said, toxic relationship, because of things that you do, people getting abortions, different things that we put ourselves in on top of because we deal with through our family that we don't want to address. So like I said, that's the alleyway. So behind the scenes, everybody can't see that unless you talk about it. Everybody doesn't want to talk about it, but at the same time, you're dealing with these things. We're dealing with toxic relationship, people that with abandonment issues. All of us have played a factor in our well-being, our mental health. Like I said, different passageways to allow Satan legal right when we're open. Okay, so that means just how God sends people, Satan can send people. So then we don't realize who sent you. So we end up in another cycle of bad relationships, children out of wedlock, seeking and finding love out of the same sex, the opposite sex, thirsty, whatever you want to call it, and then you end up messed up. So then you have all these people that are in so-called mental health issues, which is schizophrenic and all this other stuff. When you become intimate with somebody, or even just friends, things transfer. Okay, so you end up picking up spirits or picking up diseases and other kind of stuff. So recognizing this stuff and addressing it. If you're going to live a certain way, be honest. We know people are not going to do that all the time or be truthful to who they really are. Somebody's not really tell you, I'm a con artist. look, I shice women out of their money, because a lot of times, like I said, when you're looking for what you're looking for, like a lot of times with some men, because they didn't have their mom, or their mom wasn't, she was nurturer to them, and they maybe didn't have that strong father, or didn't have their father, or even the father was in the home, but he wasn't as effective as he needed to be. So now you'll have some that will show things in abusive relationships. Some men will hate women. Some men will be looking for a mother in a wife or a girlfriend, when you have to separate those things. So instead of being a wife, you end up being somebody's mother. Or same thing, like with the man, you end up being like a father to her, a woman, because she lacked that. So learning balance, and us learning where we fit in it, what lane are we in, what things affect our own lives, so we can know how to handle it and address it, so we can have healthy relationships. Because what happens when we have healthy relationships, we can be more effective on our jobs. Okay, I'm not saying you ain't gonna go through stuff, but we can be more effective in our homes, effective with our children, effective with our family members, different people. Then we can see the impact that we can have on other people, and spread a positive, infectious thing. Okay, where people, are learning from your actions and your growth, learning how to have better relationships, where they don't have to experience some of the hardships that some of us have. We don't want our children to experience toxic relationships, or being in denial and abandonment issues, because you have a lot of children in foster home now. Okay, foster homes, that need and want to be adopted, because of our sin and issues that we had, that we didn't address, or we were in denial of. It's affecting every aspect of our lives. So everybody copes differently. Everybody responds differently to good and bad. So you may have one family member, they may give their kids up for adoption, or you got somebody might go to another extreme. But then you have some, they grind, they take care of them. But then you have some, they may have a job and they can handle the pressure. But then you have someone to go up and shoot up everybody on the job. They lose control. They'll say they lost their mind. Okay, so that means they became open, right? The enemy came in and took over their mind, to where they couldn't even think rationally. Okay, your mind, your will, and your emotion, your soul, to where you blanked out and you end up hurting somebody. Okay, when people rob and steal different things, it plays a factor in your behaviors, your speech, how you carry yourself. That's the part that I think we miss a lot of times when we see things happening. What helped cause? What is the cause? The root. What are some of the passageways, the alleyway things that led us to these results that we're seeing in our families, in our children, in ourselves? What did we touch? What did we allow? Because like I said, when you open and you seeking, like I said, we seek what we are deficient in. If you're deficient of vitamin C, you get vitamin C, right? Okay, for your body. If you're seeking what is it? Look, I'm drinking soda, even though that's not a need. But we seek what we want. We want what you want. So then you begin to look for it and find. But the word of God, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added unto you. So we seeking in all the wrong places, looking for love, looking for affirmation, looking for nurturing, because of things that we were deprived of, we were deficient of. Some were deficient of that love that they needed from a mother or from a father. So then how can you love somebody else and be in a relationship and have a healthy relationship when you don't deal with those mama daddy issues that you were deficient? So we're not understanding why we're having so many unbalanced relationships, or even just trying to handle the pressure of being a parent or just life, because we didn't want to talk about it or address why are we at this point. So then we have so many people that are alone, are settling in relationships. Well, oh, there's nobody else out there. The devil is a lie. There's nobody else out there for me. I might as well just stay here, or I might just, I find love in this person. I'll just deal with it. But then we have people that are losing their mind. Toxic relationship. You can be in a same-sex relationship and still get abused. Like we see that all the time. I've seen that. Like people think that you can go to the same sex, and that's why I say that's the thing. You end up looking in all the wrong places for what you didn't get, but you still end up unstable, double-minded. You still end up in unstable relationships, whether it's the same sex or the opposite sex. You end up unstable because we're looking for things the wrong way. We're seeking the wrong way. The word says, seek him first. But we want people, we want things. We still human. Who doesn't want to be loved? But that's one of the things God had to do with me. He had to teach me how to love right and properly, so other people, so I could love my kids. Oh, that's the unconditional love. Even when you don't feel like it or don't want to. How did he do that? Through his son, Jesus Christ, unconditional love. When we don't deserve it. Sometimes your kids may not deserve it. Your family members might not deserve it. But you'll have that different, we have different levels of love. That agape love or that unconditional love. No parent wants to see their child hurting. No friend wants to see their friend hurting. But sometimes because we end up so messed up and damaged, come on, these things cause damage. They cause damage and open wounds. So in order to have healthy relationships and be effective in every aspect of our lives in handling business, okay, that's whether it be your family, literally your business, if you have a business that you own, handling business in church, okay, kingdom business, spreading the gospel. How can you be effective when you don't address these issues? Those small foxes that destroy the vine. So then you may try to talk to somebody about one of these things, but because you still behind the scenes deal with your own stuff and haven't dealt with it, that's like a hypocrite. People can tell you all day what you need to do, but then they're not living it. You haven't dealt with your own demons or face your own issues or sin in your own life, but you can tell somebody else. Those that have been effective in those areas, of course, we need them. That's why I said we need well, healthy people. Even now, I'm tired of this pandemic, but we well, healthy people so we can have healthy relationships, so we can build and so we can grow. Because when we have so much toxic, we can't even be effective to grow in the Black communities when we don't address these issues right up your alley, right up, down, whatever your alley. We can't grow in our families. We can't grow in different areas when we don't address these things, because you have people that have been molested, have been raped, and stuff has been hush hush and kept behind the scenes, not said anything, for years. And then they wonder why they're affected in their relationships, the family, because you didn't talk about it. You just overlooked it. What led that person to get an abortion? Did they take responsibility of laying down with that person? Like I said, we do have some unfortunate circumstance where people get raped, but a mass majority of people that get it is because you laid down or you was too young. You see parents taking their kids because, I don't want nobody to look at me wrong, or people that have kids out of wedlock, they try to, back in the day, they'll hide you off because they don't want nobody to see, or somebody, possibly the one that raped you, could be the coach or somebody else. That's why I say when we don't address these things, and our kids need mentoring, we need help, we need guidance and counseling, it's hard to even allow some people around your children for mentorship, because you got so many issues that factor in. Because you can't see it by just looking at a person's face, that's why it's so important for us to discern people. Okay, what's their motives? What's behind them? Getting to know people. We rush in relationships and we don't even get to know the person. Many of us can attest to that, where you end up, some people one night stands and you end up pregnant, or you end up with something because you were searching for love. You at the club high and drunk, and now you open. You want to go creep. And sometimes I say you get exactly what you want, but we keep looking in these areas, seeking stuff, or we're deficient, or we lacking. And you may get something that may cost you. What they say, bite off more than you can chew. Because when reality set in and you're pregnant, you got the kids to take care of, or you got a disease or sickness, or you now you're getting divorced, now you're depressed, now you some people go to extreme, some people end up on drugs, some people end up homeless, prostitution, so many different aspects, avenues, come on, pathways that the enemy can lead us down through our sin, through issues that we don't address. You end up by yourself, and end up not even having a lot of friends, but you don't need a lot of friends anyways. But even people just wanting to deal with you or tolerate you because of how you act, especially that narcissism, that denial, that's very strong. We hearing about that so much, about the denial and people narcissistic and how toxic it is. So we end up in so many toxic relationships or friendships or whatever. People's way of thinking is off, like it's that block from your jobs, different areas. As long as I'm good, I don't care how it affects you. Okay, that was a thing, a big thing that was that's been happening right now, where people thought because of who they were, I'm good. But now we're starting to see you were just being used for a part of the plan, because with this pandemic, people are taken back and astonished and baffled that um, my job is on the line. If I don't take this, so really you would just mirror, kind of like I said, like a prostitute, use you up for what I need to use you for, and then throw you to the side. If you're not them high people or elites or the ones that, $1 billion people, they really don't care, but they're just using you. So we see that in our Black communities. We see it in the industries. Now we're seeing it all over the world, where people, were being just merely used as a puppet to help fulfill an agenda. And now people are not understanding why we here. That you were being used too. That's the part that's blowing for mind. They thought they was good. They thought because of my race, because of my money, because of this. But then now everybody losing their mind. So job at risk. Kids now, they pushing kids to get that thing. Wake up and pay attention, because the enemy is striving and using so many different pathways and passages. Come on, alleyways between and behind the scenes to get as many people as he can. Because when you're in agreement, they're good. Okay? That's Satan. When you're in agreement with Satan, he's good. But as soon as you start being like a rebel, come on, I'm in Georgia now, down south Georgia rebel. That would pass to a little side note, a little joke. Anyways, when you in agreement with, they cool. But as soon as people started saying, I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that, I don't agree with this and I don't agree with that, oh, they true colors came out. Oh, we finna mandate. Oh, because they were so used to, the system was so used to you agreeing to everything, whether you say it or not. Your actions were in agreement. Our actions were in agreement with different things that were happening in the world. That's why they've been forcing that new world order. They wanted to see how far they could go to get your agreement, to get our agreement. And a lot of it we did unconsciously, not even knowing how bad the effects would be, or how bad it would put us at risk of so many different things. We just kind of went with the flow, or was like, that's on them. I don't want no parts of that. But when you condone stuff and you don't acknowledge it or denounce it, you're in agreement. So that's why a lot of uproar is going on, because that wasn't a part of the plan. Everybody was just supposed to take the thing. Everybody supposed to do what the system says. You supposed to come on the matrix. You supposed to follow the rules. You're not supposed to wake up. You're not supposed to see clearly. So now it's been a monkey wrench thrown in the wheel. Jesus, take the wheel. So now it's a disruption in the frequency. That spiritual warfare manifesting that people are seeing, because now it's like, I thought I had you by the collar. Come on, what is it? Them strongholds and them yokes, cut strings, the puppets. I told you it's on levels. So puppets have been being used. Think about different races, different cultures, been being used and manipulated for a bigger agenda. Plus, we've seen it on smaller levels where people will use you to get to what they want, use you to get money. Some people do it knowingly. They'll marry somebody just to get a visa. We know just as levels to it. But how far has Satan manipulated throughout your life to get you in agreement? A lot of us have missed it, but we have been unconsciously in agreement. The word says even the very elect to be deceived. So we think if we don't talk about it, or we just say, behind things, I don't agree with that, but I'm not going to let nobody know I don't agree with it, that's okay. No, when you don't denounce stuff and you even unconsciously don't even say anything, you condoning it. That's just like me letting my kids misbehave all the time and I don't say nothing. I just let them get away with it. But then I'm wondering why they get in trouble at school or something. Come back up. So now we seeing all this stuff going on. Like, we living in uncertain times. That's why I say, oh my God, is God. That's why I have to be led by, because in these times, your mama can't save you, your daddy can't save you. You accountable for yourself, your own healing, your own personal development, your own growth. You want blessings, you want this, you want that. Okay, it's gonna cost you. Okay, the truth costs. Okay, because how can you be a believer and not speak the truth and not deal with you and yourself? We've done that for so many generations and so long. Now we got this sweeping coming on, the cleaning up. God's cleaning up the church, and he comes for his people first. So if he judges the house of the Lord first, where do you think the world fall at? The sinners. We all accountable for our part that we play. Okay, we don't want our kids to be subject or susceptible. Ooh, susceptible and open to some of these things because we didn't deal with it. So when people went outside open with the pandemic, when people didn't, but it was different pathways or passages that you could get the thing, right? Okay, as far as the spread of it, okay? It could have been in the air, born, all this, you hear all the discrepancies and how you can get it, but we know it's different places. It could be in the daggone food. We don't know. That's why you bless your food. But so many different passageways to get infected, right? So that's why we have to pray. We pray about food. We bless our food. That's why we use wisdom. But at the same time, people were still thinking that if I get this, this is going to save me. This is going to save me. Trust in the system that's not credible. Trust in people that's not credible. We get in relationships with con artists that's not credible. We see the signs. Come on, the signs of the times. But we see the signs in relationships and friendships. We keep giving people the benefit of the doubt, So now when you get bit, come on. Say you fool me once, you fool me twice, it's on me. So now we have to take accountability where we missed it. Okay, you didn't want to see it. Or we didn't see it sometimes. We were ignorant. We were oblivious to the things that were happening. But now we're seeing an uproar in the world. Okay, where these systems, like I said, this government system, man, now, like they that's serious. Like we live in history. World breaking things happening every day. Breaking history every day. That's why I just be like, oh my goodness, this is making you like, it's like you be tired, like Lord help us. But like I said, people end up settling or being alone. And because we're deficient in so many different areas, lacking love and affection and all this other stuff, we're getting in the wrong area. So now our kids are looking for it. You got so many kids now that are, I guess, doing same-sex relationships, even in elementary school, doing stuff because you didn't let them see stuff that they shouldn't have saw anyways, dealing with stuff that they shouldn't be dealing with. Bless me. So then we wonder why our kids are so open, from the internet to technology to the cell phones, not being monitoring what. Or then too, sometimes, like I said, they get open because they go to school and it's folk doing the most, So that's why I said we have to even be mindful of what we expose our kids to, because it's being and exposing. But then too, what have we exposed our children to? What have we been exposed to? Okay, because like I said, a lot of times we be exposed to stuff we don't even know. That's been happening for years, right? We've been exposed and experimented on for years, some more than others. But what is it now that you see that everybody's a part of, they was a part of experiment? Talk about wake-up calls. Talk about you thought you was good, but then it was like, I never thought this would have happened to me, right? People say that. I never thought I would have been the one to be divorced, or I never thought I would have been the one to get to see. Never thought I would have been one in a toxic relationship. I never thought I would have been the one to be divorced. Never, never, never. Didn't they say never say never? Never say what you look. A lot of us, it could have been me. It could have been you. That's why I say I don't judge people, but it is easy to miss it. It is easy to be deceived. Satan used so many different ways to manipulate us. He beguiled Eve. Come on. He beguiled her. Okay. So that means he tricked her. You might say kind of like tricked her, manipulated. Okay. Made it sound good. Had that good talk game. Made it sound so good, but didn't really display the consequences like that. Okay. But God already told him, he told him what to do and what not to do. So then we have consequences for our actions or things that we don't want to deal with or things that we end up obtaining through relationships and friendships. It comes with consequences. The fact of the matter is it comes with consequences. So it can be behind the scene, between whatever. But the thing about it is, thank God that he's a behind the scene God. So with locating yourself, even if you're in the alley, something you ain't got no business doing, or one of these topics that I briefly went over, was right up your alley. He sees you. You can't hide, even in the light and in the dark. He sees us, our good and our bad. He already knows. And yes, he knows our heart. Like I said, when you know better, you do better. When you keep doing the same things over and over, repetition that you know is wrong, same type of relationships, having 5 baby daddies. Look, it took me, two to learn. You learn from your mistakes and correct it. But when you intentionally, come on, when you are out age of accountability and you know what you're doing, you suffer the consequences. You suffer a possibility of repercussions. And that's when possibilities come in, where it's possible that you can get a man that's super abusive and might kill you. It's possible you end up in the same sex relationship because you looking for what you lacked in a relationship, or you seeking out to find something, and that person seemed like they had everything you needed, that Prince Charming or whoever, they just seemed like they were the right one. But because you open and you haven't healed, you end up getting what they say, a frog again. End up with a frog again. End up with setbacks, because these things affect your well-being, your function, how you function in life, how you work, how you move, how being effective in your life as a whole. We want to be effective, and we want to make a positive impact on people, make a positive impact on those that we encounter, those that come around us, because it's a lot of negative influence that in the world right now. It's a lot of toxic things that are damaging to our communities and to our families. So it's important for us to address those behind the scene things, those in between, those things that we cover up, those sins of the heart, those repetitious patterns, repetitious cycles and patterns. Okay, because when you keep going in a circle, you can't get out of a circle. Okay, this is going round and round and round. But what is it to be led out of the circle? Okay, sometimes we have to step away, step out from outside of the box and the norm and what we have ideally been told stereotypically what our race should be, what your culture should be, what you should wear, how you speak, how you should look, how you should talk. So then there's no individuality. So when we do see somebody that comes out and steps out different, people are drawn to those people, whether it be a music artist or somebody in your job, whatever, because they're different. People want different, but they don't want to do different. Ooh, they don't want to do different. Most people, it's like clones, like uniforms. Most people are uniform, do the same, similar things. It looks the same. But as soon as somebody dares to be different, or not in agreement with everybody else, it's an uproar. I told you, I tell my kids that dare to be different. Then you have to be like, learn from your mama, learn from people, before you. Don't make the same mistakes. But then I have to let them know, some things I'm having to have real conversations with my kids at a young age that I didn't even think I was gonna have to have, just to prepare them before they go out. And to let them know, don't let nobody just do nothing to you. Because you even have this thing where they talking about kids can get the thing without permission. Where they do that at? Like, this is serious. And like I said in the previous video, a lot of the ones that I see marching and stuff is white folk that's marching against it. That should say something right there. Even doctors and stuff. So I'm just like, what make you not want to get it? To each his own, but that's a vast majority of what I have seen. Even though you have all different races that have gotten it. But now it's a push on the kids to get it. And I'm just like, before this, they talked about it before it even came out. So that's why I said how subtly, and because things seem harmless and it they wouldn't do that to us, or are they credible? They always say, wake up out the matrix, eat the cake and the man. Like, people be in toxic relationships, toxic stuff, all this stuff is going, and still oblivious to what's going on. When you talk about accept, but thank God that he works behind the scenes. Thank God that he sees all and knows all. That he is waking up his remnant, waking up his people. Don't miss it. There's too many people that have been lost. Like I said, a lot of folk got blood on their hands and don't even realize they got it. And some of them know they don't care. They thirsty for blood. Ooh, vampires and stuff like that. But you got some people, they crave and they thirst for blood. Satan, come on. Why do you think they have blood sacrifices still, and they drinking blood and doing all this stuff behind the scenes in the cults and stuff? Look, it's all a part of it. Initiation. Come on, agreement. It's power in your agreement. It's power and agreement. Either way, even with the body of Christ, it's power and agreement. We come on one accord as believers in Jesus Christ. You think God ain't moving? It's been people that's been praying. Thank God for mercy and grace for him moving. Okay, on our behalf. Because some folks still don't see it. And it kind of is baffling, but at the same time, the Bible speaks about it. Even the very elect to be deceived. So that's believers, that's Christians. So I thank God for mercy and grace for waking us up to address every area of our life, address our business, because like I said, you won't be effective even in your own business, on your job, in your families, in any aspect of your life if you don't deal with these things, your issues. whether it be from, a lot of times from our sins, but from stuff that we didn't touch, okay, that we missed. As some were thirsty, we're seeking love and affection, affirmation, approval. A lot of people that are having rants online, or rants that you're seeing. Why? Because it's something that they done did, or something they didn't touch, or something they've experienced, something they lacked that they were deficient from. All those different things that play a factor in it. So when you get that, you get somebody losing their mind. People commit suicide, depression, trying to cope, high. Look, a lot of that stuff, like I said, coping mechanisms. But lust is never satisfied. So it may start from alcohol, then go to weed. It's like feeding a demon. They hungry. They have an appetite. So you feed them, whether it be sex, your sin. That's how we feed the demon, our sin. He grows, they grow. People get legions. You get open. You get from over here because you're doing this over here. You come on. So open, you got a multitude. You got more than one demon because you got open. Gave Satan legal right to possibly come in through different gateways. That's what we're hearing a lot of. Them trying to let the demonic out and through the ground. Like y'all want to watch Cast the Ghost and what is it? What's the other one? Ghostbusters and stuff like that. Man, ain't nobody playing with stuff like that. We don't play with spirits and demons. All that stuff is real. But we don't. Well, who does that? They make it like it's fun and it's cool. With the backpack on, back in the day, we watched that stuff like it was cool. But now it's like, ain't no machine finna suck them up. They finna go on somebody's body. Look, even like that little kid movie, was it Soul? The demon is looking for a home. Satan is roaming to and fro, seeking whom he can devour. At the same time, just like when the pigs in the Bible, the demons, God allowed the lunatic, I might have been that one, where he allowed the demons to go in the pigs. I'm like, they want a home. They need a body. They need somewhere to go. So just like with us, what spirit is behind you? So start paying attention to folk, even the system. Because like I said, you end up in a trap, like it's like the Matrix, thinking that you getting somewhere, but then you susceptible to damage, your kids, loss. Once again, what is it to gain the whole world and lose your soul? So that was just a brief alleyway talk for you. Those behind the scenes, those things that everybody can't see because you don't know what folks be doing in them alleys now. You see it in the movies, but you see it in real life too. You be glancing, it be dark down them alleys. Can't nobody really see down them alleyways, right? But anywho, y'all have a wonderful morning. Be blessed and have a great day. I'll talk to y'all soon.